I adore young Freddie Highmore. I think he was definitely one of the finest child actors of the early 21st century. Still, of course, a great actor. And when I discovered that he was in a film with Robin Williams, the 2007 film August Rush, I did inevitably rush to see it. Not in 2007, several years later. And it's quite a mixed bag of reviews for this one. Personally, I enjoyed it. I will talk a little bit about it and my thoughts. I won't give any spoilers. But IMDb has an overall rating of 7.5 out of 10 across 104,000 reviews. That's a very respectable rating. It has a Metascore of 38, which is a pretty poor rating, even for Metascores. So it's very, very contrasting there. And I'm not sure what to take from that. I think ultimately it means that the person whose opinions matter most are the viewers. And we know this. And I think you should definitely watch it and make up your own mind. And hopefully the contrast in review scores will help you to kind of decide on your own opinion. It was actually nominated for an Oscar. Which, again, I don't understand that Metascore. It was nominated for the Best Achievement in Music. It didn't win, but nevertheless, still a beautiful film. Directed by Kirsten Sheridan, written by James V. Hart and Nick Castle. And stars, of course, Freddie Highmore as our character, as our protagonist, August Rush. We also have Keri Russell and Jonathan Rhys Meyers. And my favourite, above all else, Robin Williams. And he plays a character called Wizard, Maxwell Wizard Wallace. And he's in it a decent amount. The narrative is emotional. This is a drama more than anything, but there's a nice amount of comedy in there to keep it alive, to keep things fresh and not for people to get too downcast. The description from IMDb is one sentence, and this is as follows. An orphaned music prodigy uses his gift to try to find his birth parents. Okay, so we have an orphan who is a prodigy. Straight away, this character is going to be complicated, he's going to be fascinating. If he's well acted, he's going to be a delight to watch. And he, of course, is very well portrayed by Freddie Highmore. And the fact that he has this musical gift obviously gives us this really beautiful, stunning soundtrack, and I can see why it was nominated for the Oscar. It's a pleasure to listen to as much as it is a pleasure to watch. Now, I have to say, I was never really that bothered about the narrative itself, in terms of wondering, whether he'd find his parents or if he could find out who they were or anything like that. I didn't really care. No, that sounds cold-hearted. Of course I cared, but I wasn't, if it got to the end of the film and one thing happened or something else happened, I wasn't really going to be bothered either way. It's just one of those films that's beautifully shot, very well edited, with a lovely soundtrack and brilliant acting and a great cast. So I enjoyed it for being in the moment, which is unusual for me because I'm very narrative driven. I like my films to hook me in with a juicy story, and I want them to keep me engaged until the end, where there's a big reveal or a conclusion of some kind. But with this one, I just enjoyed each frame, each scene for the art that it was. And it's rare that I get that experience because I'm usually so caught up on the narrative. And that was an absolute delight. And for that reason, I'm ridiculously happy to recommend this, to the point where I'd say make it the next film we watch. It's not my favourite Freddie Highmore film. Of course it isn't. We have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Finding Neverland as contenders there. It's not my favourite Robin Williams film. There are probably 20 Robin Williams films that come before this one. But it's still a fantastic film, and one that I think is so beautiful and absolutely... It's a treat. It feels like a gift to watch this film because it is stunning. It's the right level of emotional without being over the top or feeling forced. It's a pleasure. It's a treat. You may cry. Ultimately, I think it's a brilliant performance, an interesting enough narrative, great soundtrack, gorgeous images, absolutely worth watching.